Oklahoma State got a little payback on Baylor in that rematch of the Big 12 title game, aka the Kurtis Quillin Bowl. The team,
I love the name.
Yeah, the team he covers versus the team that his alma mater, correct?
That is correct. I'm a 2016 graduate of Oklahoma State.
There you go. So it's only one Big 12 loss for Baylor. And yet, in my column on Sunday, I wrote that unless something dramatically changes, that we will not see this Baylor team back in Jerryworld. What do you guys say? Do you agree, disagree?
Go ahead, Kurtis.
If you're asking me Baylor or the field, I'm taking the field. But then when I look at the Big 12 standings, I can't tell you which one of those teams will finish higher in the standings than Baylor. But it's one of those that, based on what I've seen from Baylor, John's seen all 5 games. I had a family emergency for the Albany game, so I wasn't there, and I went to BYU. And I've seen both losses. And in both losses, the passing game wasn't there. And that was a big selling point this year, right? For this Baylor offense and for switching to Blake Shapen. Something's got to give there. I don't know if maybe they just don't have the receivers that they thought they were going to for this season. I'm inclined to agree, but cautiously is how I'll answer it.
That's a good way to put it. John?
Yeah, I would call Baylor a long shot right now. You can't lose at home. Baylor went 7-0 last year at home. That was a big reason they won the Big 12. Their road schedule's a lot tougher. I mean, even as good as they were last year, they were 3-2 in true road games, and 2 of those wins were against Kansas and Texas State. So, their road schedule's brutal, and now their home schedule's looking a lot tougher, with TCU, Kansas, and K-State, arguably the 3 best teams in the league right now.
Right.
So it's going to be very hard. But like Kurtis said, the league is very balanced, and there doesn't seem to be a real doormat this year. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised that the teams that get there at least have 2 losses, and perhaps one might have 3.
Yeah.
So
you look at
go ahead.
I was going to say, you look at the Big 12 standings and you start looking, okay, how many of these teams are built pretty similarly to Baylor? How many of them are built a little more closely to Oklahoma State? I'm shocked at how balanced Oklahoma State is this year, given how much they lost on defense, not just their all-world defensive coordinator, but guys like Malcolm Rodriguez, who are shining for the Detroit Lions right now. And then you look at TCU. Would you guys say TCU 4-0 is 4-0? You don't ask how, you ask how many, and they've had more points than their opponent in every single game.
It doesn't matter. Oklahoma.
And a lot more than Oklahoma, and a lot more than Colorado. And Colorado might be the worst team in the Power 5 this year. But is TCU similar to 2019 Baylor? Is this just a really good team that until the Oklahoma game was just very untested?
It's a good question. It's a very good question. And if they are, then maybe TCU is going to stay in that top 3 and going to be something to reckon with on November 19th. Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I mean, the way I described the Big 12 in my column was cannibalistic. This is your parental advisory if you're grossed out by things. But they're going to eat up on each other this year, beat up on each other. I mean, it's just I can't remember. We had John. We had some friends from the Tulsa World on last week, and Garen Emig said that that he can't remember a year where 1 through 10 it's this close in the Big 12, and I agree.
Yeah.